What's going on, guys? John Neves here, and we are going to give you our full review of the Huawei Nova 2i. This particular phone is a mid-range phone, priced at around 14,990. It's the first phone by Huawei that had an 18:9 display. Obviously, that's not true anymore. There's another phone that has an 18:9 display. That's the Mate 10 Pro. But this is the first phone that they announced that has that particular aspect ratio. It's becoming a very popular display size. So this phone has that particular display and also quad cameras, 2 on the rear, 2 in the front. Like we said earlier, the Nova 2i has an 18:9 display. It's a 5.9-inch phone in a body of a 5.5-inch phone. So there's extra real estate on the top and on the bottom. There's very little bezels on the side of the Nova 2i. Really makes it look pretty nice. The phone has a unibody aluminum construction. There's curves on the side. It's really handy to hold one-handed. Fingerprint scanner is fast. It's very readily accessible by your finger, which we really like. The only thing that we don't like about the design is the raised camera module on the rear. The raised camera module is basically a liability if you put the phone down on surface. The anodization on the lower part of our unit starting to come out on the camera module because it rubs on surfaces all the time. So to go back to that display, it's Full HD Plus resolution, so you have extra real estate on top and the bottom. Allows you to browse Facebook, your websites easier since you don't spend as much time scrolling up and down because you have a bit of extra real estate there. The only thing that we don't like about it is that not all apps actually support the 18:9 display resolution. YouTube, for example, most of the content there is actually shot in 16:9 widescreen. So if you watch YouTube videos, you will see black bars on the left and on the right, basically giving you a 5.5-inch display when you're watching YouTube. Rear cameras are pretty great. 16 megapixel resolution main camera and 2 megapixel depth sensor. It's pretty much what you expect from front camera. There's also a depth sensor paired with the 30 megapixel front unit. It gives you the ability to add software bokeh to your shots in real life or in actual use. The quality of the software bokeh is okay, but you will see software aberrations once in a while depending on how close or how far you are from the subjects that you shoot when you're trying to do portrait mode. We're actually surprised at how well the Nova 2i managed to take photos. We were in Taichung, Taiwan for around 5 days. We're taking photos, a lot of photos, in overcast sky. The shooting conditions weren't great, but our photos, the Nova 2i surprised us with the clarity, the detail of the shot, even though the shooting conditions were not optimal. When you're shooting in low light, you will see a bunch of noise in the camera. It's something really that you can't avoid when you're actually shooting with phones in low light. You will see noise, especially as the sun goes down. But for the price, the Nova 2i is actually a pretty good performer when it comes to shooting photos. Nova 2i is equipped with a Kirin 659 octa-core processor. It's not bad. It's good enough for daily use. That's paired with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of expandable storage. The phone felt quick, snappy. It's paired with Android 7.0 and EMUI 5. The only thing that we don't like about the processor is the GPU. The GPU isn't for people who will like playing a lot of graphically intense Android games. The GPU struggles a bit when you turn up the resolution, or sorry, when you turn up the quality settings on games, on Asphalt 8, Modern Combat 5. The frame rates dip a little bit when you start playing, which isn't ideal, obviously. If you're just a regular user, if you are willing to compromise on the game settings of the stuff that you play, it's fine, it's good enough. but if you're really looking for a process or a phone can double as a good Android game machine, the Huawei Nova 2i might not be for you. As far as battery life is concerned, PC Mark Battery Benchmark recorded a score of around 7 hours and 30 minutes, I guess, on a single charge. That's a little misleading because our actual use on this particular phone, we managed to get around, I think, around a day. More than, and there's like a little leftover, 15% leftover after we were done shooting and Instagramming and stuff like that in Taiwan while we use this. So like all things, it all depends on your use. If you don't use it as a PSP, for example, the Nova 2i will last you quite a bit. Should you buy the Nova 2i? Absolutely. If you are looking for a pretty solid phone, if you're not really concerned about gaming, Android gaming, or you're willing to compromise a little bit on the quality of the visuals in the games that you play, then Nova 2i is actually a very good buy at $14,990. Huawei is throwing in a speaker, a free swanky JBL speaker, October 21. First day buyers get that speaker when they buy this particular phone. If you have around 15,000 pesos to spend and are looking for basically a nice one that does everything well, you might want to consider the Huawei Nova 2i. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you like that discussion about the Huawei Nova 2i, please leave a like. If you have any other questions about this particular phone, just leave it down there. We'll get around to it as soon as we can.